Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm messing with the farm truck again. I need to come up with a name for that truck. If you got any ideas, let me know. So I've already kind of started messing with it a little bit. And one of the first things that I wanted to try to get a handle on is why the windshield wipers weren't working. And then I started trying to take it apart and thought maybe I should share this with you guys. In trying to get it apart, I come across the challenge of getting these old wiper arms off because the cowl has to come off. Let me show you. So you can see my mess here already, but in order to get the cowl off, to get to the wiper arms, well, the wipers themselves have to come off. And well, I was having trouble with it, and so I went and did some research, and I learned that this is a common issue with these old Dodges, and that it's almost guaranteed just to be the bushings. So, and that's assuming the motor's still good, which I haven't tested, but I can actually see down in here through the grates that the bushings are off, and well, these just free spin, which means the arms are not in there anymore. So I've been trying to make a list of all the stuff that I'm gonna need, and obviously I need now those bushings. I'm gonna try to test the motor before I get everything hooked up once it's all taken apart and make sure that the motor's good, because I think you have to take this all back off if you're gonna redo the motor. And I think I mentioned it last time, the wiring is clearly the biggest issue in this truck. It's got one of the old school glass fuse boxes in it, and I've looked underneath the dash and it's been hacked on a little bit over the years, so I'm sort of on the fence about maybe ripping that out completely and just replacing it with a universal fit kind of modern fuse box, or just going with it as long as everything's not like shorted out and burned or anything. So that'll be a pretty soon project because the lights and stuff have issues, and I got to wire the whole back. So I may just order a whole new harness for the truck. So I learned when taking this off and doing the research that they actually make a special tool for taking that off of that. But I don't have it, and I'm not going to buy it for a one-time use. So what I ended up doing was a little hammer and pry bar and a few other little things. But it turns out that the biggest reason mine was so hard to get off is that they painted this this splined nub here, and then they put the wiper arm back on it. And it looks like it was probably either still wet when they did it, or they just forced it down on there, which is not good. So we're gonna see if I can get that one off, and I'll show you a little trick that I did, and not sure it's the best way to do it, but it works. Alright, so I'll be honest, I'm not sure how well the camera is going to capture this, but we'll see how it does. So I put a little piece of 1/8 inch plywood and some cardboard down to try not to scratch the cowl up any worse than it already is. And I just started trying to work this off. And I've also already sprayed this with like some WD-40. Looks like this one's probably on here just like the other one was. So I'm gonna show you the little trick. I don't know if it'll work twice, but let's see how it goes. Of course, the hood's in the way. There we go. So the idea was to pry up on the edge of this guy, but not get under that. See, there's paint all over these. I got to get those cleaned up before I put that back on there. But now we can get underneath and see what the problem is. Alright, well, as you can see, there's the motor right there, and the bushing's gone. And it looks like the arm laying down in there, and the bushing's gone off of that. And it's gone off of that arm over there. and I can't see it. Maybe I can get you guys down in there to see it. That arm is also off, so everything is off. This seems like it might be a little loose. Let's see if that's okay or not. I guess now I'll be doing some research to see what parts I need. So we'll be waiting on parts. And while I wait on parts, maybe I can test the motor now that everything's fallen off. So here's our old school little fuse panel, which is it's nice that it's simple, but I see some issues, some sort of ghetto rigging stuff they've done. Jumper wires, those aren't very good fuses. Battery, stop, horn, accessories, heater. I'm gonna guess that's turn signals and brakes, stoplights. Not sure what that says because it looks like it might have melted at some point. Can't imagine why. I wonder if it would be considered an ignition accessory. I wonder where that goes. It looks like we got a missing relay up there too. Well, I'm gonna guess I might have to come down here and trace the wire. So here's the turn signal knob, and it does 0. Alright, it would seem that I need to go to the wiring diagrams because the harness for that switch actually runs into the main harness, and it's actually still all taped up, which is actually better than I expected to find under there. And I don't really want to cut all that loose unless I have to, and I don't really have the tools to kind of trace the cable. So I'm just going to go look up the wiring diagram and see where it's supposed to go, and then I'll do some like continuity tests or something, make sure that it's actually connected and working, and we'll go from there. But now I got to go spend some time doing some more research. And I also got to order those bushings because it's clear that the bushings are what's messed up. And then we'll test the motor and stuff before we hook everything else up. But like I said, I'm gonna go do some research, and I'll be back with you soon to show you where we're at. Hey guys, so I'm back at it again today. Fingers crossed we'll be able to wrap this up today, because I've got the window motor supposed to arrive sometime this afternoon. I've got the old one off. It's just 3 bolts, by the way. I believe they were 1/2 inch. But I was noticing when I was looking at what I purchased that this arm does not appear to come with it. So this has got some sort of retaining clip. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. And I'm gonna guess it's been on there for 48 years. So it's been soaking with PB Blaster, and I've been trying to give it a little bit of a, you know, just tapping it with a hammer and kind of trying to work it loose. Pretty certain I gotta have this little arm. Let's see if I can get this off, and hopefully that'll be here soon, and then we'll start getting all the bushings and stuff installed. But I've been looking up some tricks because they are kind of a pain to get pressed onto these little nubs. And one more thing, I'm pretty sure I also have to have this resistor. Alright, so I was finally able to get this broken loose. Once I got some of the rust off of this, I was able to get a 3/8 socket on here. And sort of get this thing lined up. And then just continue tapping my ratchet. Oh, there we go. She's off. Try to clean that up a little bit before we put it on the new one. While I was sitting here cleaning this up, a part showed up, and sort of checking everything out, and it looks right. Everything looks right. This one's a lot less heavy though, which is not a bad thing. So it does come with this. I'm fairly certain this is a grounding strap, and I am gonna end up needing my resistor here and this arm. So I'm glad I took the time to go ahead and work on getting that off of there. We'll get it mounted up on this one. Close to the same position, hopefully. Make sure it all fits. Yeah, good. It's gonna fit just fine once I get all that rust out of there. Alright, so you might have caught that or you might not have, but right as I was getting ready to finish up there, my ratchet slipped and one busted knuckle later, and it doesn't look too bad on camera, but it tried to basically scrape my nail out and it bled a bunch. So we're back at it though. Alright, I'm back and I finally got parts. So hopefully this is all we need. These are the bushings for the windshield wipers. It's actually a little bit difficult to find the exact part numbers and the count that I need. So I ordered these, I got these in. I went and talked to the parts store and they said it could have been a couple different ones. So that really wasn't helpful. So I'm gonna take a look and see if these fit, and if not, I'll have to get some more, but hopefully we can finish this up today. And sorry in advance for any of the glares or shadowing. It's a very sunny day. It's a beautiful day to be doing this, but it's not a beautiful day to be filming, so sorry, but I'll show you what I can. All right, I wanted to come over here in the shade where I could show you guys this and make sure you could see it. So I was doing a little digging under the hood right there, and just to validate, there are a couple of these little types of bushings. They're two different part numbers. Some Dodges and other cars will have two different types of bushings, and some will have all the same. And I was thinking mine had all the same, and it looks like it is, and it's the ones that's got this little little tab on it. So I also just remembered that I need to track down the electrical issue with the windshield wiper first, because I want to make sure the motor works before I go through all the trouble of getting all the bushings and stuff hooked up and connect it to the motor, and then find out that I got to take it all back out because the motor doesn't work. So I would do a little testing to see if the motor actually works and see if it's just an electrical issue. And hopefully it's just a basic problem, but I'll let you guys know and I'll show you what it is instead of you watching me fumble with wires for whoever knows how long. All right, guys, so I'm back and I've spent the last hour looking at this, which probably isn't going to focus super well, and this, which is the wiper motor. And I'll be honest, I'm not super great at reading these wiring diagrams, but I did figure out that one of my relays in here was not good. So I got a relay replaced, and then I started testing a bunch of these fuses, and several of them had no continuity. So I ended up replacing most of the fuses in the fuse panel, and then started doing some more testing. So let me show you that before I move on. So this is my fuse panel in here, and there was a bunch of jumper wires instead of fuses, which is not really safe. They had created a bunch of these and stuck in there. So I took all that out, I put the right fuses back in it. There's still one missing, and that's because the upper side of that is gone. So as far as I can tell, that's just the radio, which won't be a problem for now. And if I don't replace this whole panel, I'll most likely just put a inline fuse instead of using that in order to hook this back up. Alright, so the next thing, honestly, to check based on the directions would be the switch, which in this truck is here, and it just turns. I've got to get a knob for it. I think there's one in here, but I got to reattach it. But either way, that should be off, and there's a couple settings in between, but that should be on. All right, and so I'm going to turn the ignition on. In theory, the windshield wipers should be on. But there's the motor, and as you can see, it's not. So the next step that I did was pull the plug and test for voltage, which I'll show you. All right, so what I did is I set my multimeter to voltage. I put my ground probe directly on the battery, and I started checking these prongs here. And I'm just simply not gonna be able to show you, I don't have enough hands. But as I start checking, I started noticing, you know, this one's getting voltage. That one is my ground. That's getting voltage. And that's getting voltage. And so I came to the conclusion that the motor was bad. So I started messing with it. And when I first plug it back in, which I should probably turn the switch off first, but I can hear it start humming, and I can actually feel the motor warming up, but it's not doing anything. So that tells me that the motor's bad. So it looks like I'm gonna need a windshield wiper motor. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to finish it today. I probably should have tested that already, and I just didn't, honestly, I didn't think about it. You know, when you see something that's obviously not working, you think, oh, okay, that's probably it. But I'm sure there'll be a lot more of those with this truck. So I guess I'll go get online and look up part numbers and see if I can figure out what that's gonna cost. So stick with me, we'll get this fixed. Hey guys, I'm back for hopefully the last day on this project. Took a little bit of doing to get the windshield wiper linkages all connected with those bushings, and honestly I'd show you, but there are way better videos out there on how to do those with the socket and pliers or clamps or vices or whatever. So I got all that in there finally, and I'll give you guys a quick peek at it, and I'm getting ready to just reassemble everything, put the cowl back on, put the windshield wipers back on, and yeah, then we should be done. All right, you can see we got motor in, everything works. I did have to kind of work on getting these compressed. I'm afraid that these bushings are not tight enough and that they're going to pop back off at some point. But I guess we'll cross that bridge if we have to. Well, that's pretty much a wrap. I've got to maybe button up a few things. I've got a few more screws to put back in the cowl. I was using wood screws to hold it in, so I'm trying to find, you know, metal screws, but wood screws might have to go back in there for a bit. And I think I got a little bit of adjustment I need to do, because those arms are probably going to have to come back off to do that, but not really important right now. It works, and I keep water off my windshield. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. And stick with us. We're gonna keep trying to work on getting this roadworthy. Thanks for watching. You guys have a great day.